Canto 8, The Return. And so we find ourselves both back in Chur, the point from which our journey was begun. A poet says that nowhere can we stay, yet for us too the place we stay is here, the place from which we can no longer go, unless we get a free night to us granted, to travel back and forth through Europe's lands, just like the dead in Irish song and story, who get one night on earth in every year. It is the night of All Souls' Eve, of course, so that they may revisit their old homes and see their loved ones who may be still living. No, Chur is our abiding city, Harry, where we too have been long since relegated, and have neither the courage nor the strength to cut the ties that bind us to this place. You ended up confined here, as did I. 'Twas all by chance we came here at the outset. By chance we are familiarized with death. By chance 'tis death that binds us, you and me. You cannot leave, and I cannot redeem you. 100 years are all too short a time to argue that a judge may set you free, release you from this very icy dungeon, declaring that your sentence has been served. I too am chained to Chur by chains of time. I may not leave, I may not travel hence. It was a good time that we had, admit it, the journey that we undertook together, and covered all the stages in one night. But this one night was rich in lessons for you. You saw how the unfortunate Giacometti came here by chance, and died in Chur like you. By chance Angelika, the child of Kauffmann, was born in Chur, and later worked in Dublin. Wilde is another man who suffered much, and breathed his last in low Parisian exile. And yet that moving round from grave to grave was also Wilde's fate, as we there found out. In Dublin we talked with bold Robert Emmet, who, as a secular cephalophore, a headless martyr in the cause of freedom, from street to street walked still, a spirit free, no longer thinking of a resting place, nor of an epitaph to do him justice. You know that Joyce, a stranger, lies in Zurich. The war did not permit him to be buried on Irish soil, although he hardly wished to spend eternity in Dublin town. They say Yeats' body was recovered from Roquebrune and in Drumcliff interred. But that French graveyard was by war destroyed, and whether those were really Yeats's bones they sifted from the field ploughed up by shells is really not a question we can answer. And finally to Ovid I referred you, who long years spent with bitter tears in exile upon the Black Sea coast, but came to terms with his sad lot, and lived there like a native, once he had realized there was no hope, and he would never more be back in Rome. There he lies buried on the Black Sea shore, though no man knows his sepulchre by now. 'Tis pity that your life came to this end, that you were one who died before his time. But you were early at your art, a master, and not much of your works of art were lost. Today your star burns brighter than before. Here you remain unknown, that I admit. You got a grave that had no name at last. This is a distant place to Irish thinking, and hardly comes a weeping pilgrim here from home, where your name's still admired by many. Meanwhile you've learned some German, and that Schmidt provides an epitaph to match your grave. No doubt these Grisons are too far away, and Coire and High Davos, strange-sounding names. The Irish see no further than near England. Their gaze does not extend to Switzerland. Yet bit by bit the world is growing smaller, and people start to know more of each other. We'll end up with a Dublin Coire connection. I've learned to live here, and will learn to die here. You can learn too, and I will be your guide through this world and the next and in between. The world of sanatoria in the mountains I only got to know in Switzerland. Now I am getting older here and sicker, and know these sterile buildings from within as my eventual destiny, like you. You came here and thought only of recovery, but here there was no healing for your ills. So it must be, for, Harry, human life is an incurable disease that ends. Expect nothing from life except your death. We're now united in the same perspective. It is an in-between world where we walk, you in the afterlife, me still in this life. You are a ghost, a shadow of what you were, and I a dwindling shadow of myself. But I would like you to be sure of one thing. The living are all able to leave traces wherever they have been upon this earth, not just the dead. Here I'm a good example. In parallel worlds, everywhere I've lived, I've left a trace you'd call a doppelganger. And there these melancholy spirits live, like people who are imprisoned in a dungeon, or in an icy work camp in Siberia, knowing no guilt, but never being released. One of mine is a little boy in Derry, who's stuck there since I stopped my northern visits. Another lives a pauper in Victoria. I left him in despair when I moved on. There are yet others wandering in strange worlds, abandoned to their fate as you are here. They just get overtaken, trapped in places where they have stayed too long and cannot go. And thus it was with many TB patients. One travels to Davos, that high white valley, just for a program of recovery. As soon as things are better, one will leave. Yet one is trapped upon the magic mountain, and likely stays up there for 7 years. One is enchained there like Prometheus. The eagle gnaws him, and the years go by. Why not stay 25 years, as I have? The Alps ensnare us, never let us go. They loom above us, and they hold us fast. We walk around in circles. In despair we give ourselves up to the cold and snow. Are we in purgatory? So it seems. We're true to that one place in which we lived, when death or fate its icy hand let fall upon our own hand. This is where we are. We do not walk upon a Jacob's ladder, where angels travel up and down from heaven, by which we might ourselves go up above. Are we two down here really stuck in hell? You heard enough of hell and all its terrors when you, a boy, were going to Belvedere. You heard the details of the sinner's torments on which the fiery Jesuit preachers loved to dwell. Hell is a fiery place. You burn to death, except it goes on for eternity. Here that would hardly bother us. In fact, a campfire would be here a welcome sight. If Switzerland is hell or purgatory, it is a place of snow and ice and glaciers, and thin air that a man can hardly breathe. Did you not more than once compare the Chur, those hours you spent out in the coldest night, the snowy mountains looming all about you, the stars all twinkling in the icy heavens, as you breathed frosty air into your lungs? Did you not this compare with purgatory? But you have also known the depths of hell. That moment when you knew the cure was vain, saw through the lie that made Davos a Mecca, not just for idle rich and hangers-on, but for those who were genuinely ill. You came as others did with your last strength. The only treatment offered you was air. The air itself was harmless and refreshing, but air alone cannot heal a disease, a spreading poison like tuberculosis. I ask you if that is not hell enough. As for myself, I now must learn to live, with fast approaching death and all his trappings, with sanatoria, clinics, hospitals, the heterotopy of long-suffering patients, the dying and the ones marked out for death. 'Twas Gide said, illness is the poor man's travel. Right now it feels just like a prison, Harry. But you can teach me how the whole thing goes. I won't get better. Can't escape elsewhere. The best I'll do is keep you company, and you me, in time and eternity.